Could one of the greatest legends in Philadelphia history actually be planning a massive comeback? Or is this a total disaster waiting to happen? You won't believe what was just caught on tape during a private rehab session. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. We have to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Zach Ertz. Is he really coming back to the city of brotherly love? The rumors are flying, and honestly, the evidence is starting to pile up. This past weekend, the buzz hit a fever pitch because Ertz didn't just talk about his future, illegally inviting the media into his inner circle as he grinds through a brutal rehab process in Arizona. We are talking about a guy coming off a gruesome ACL tear against the Vikings, an injury that looked like a potential career ender. But if you think he's going out like that, you don't know Zach. He told reporters point blank that he refuses to let that injury be the final chapter of a career that is, let's be real, headed straight for the Hall of Fame in Canton. The emotion in his voice was clear. He said he doesn't want people to look back at his legendary run and have the conversation start with a play where he was carted off the field. He wants to go out on his own terms, playing at the elite level he displayed before the tragedy in Minnesota. And look, before he went down, he was still a masterclass in tight end play. Even 2 seasons ago in Washington, he was the primary security blanket for a rookie quarterback like Jaden Daniels. He was the most consistent target on a team that defied the odds and made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. But here is the spicy part. When the reporters started prying, he didn't shut the door on a return to the team that drafted him out of Stanford. He is officially open to a reunion. But here is the question that is splitting the fan base right down the middle. Should the front office actually bring him back? Or is it time to move on forever? Drop a name below. Who is the one player you'd cut right now to make room for a veteran like Ertz? Wait until you hear the stats, though, because they are insane. If Zach Ertz comes back to Philly and catches just 11 more passes, he becomes the all-time franchise leader in receptions. He is currently sitting at 579, trailing the great Harold Carmichael by only 10 catches. Think about that. He's already ahead of legends like Pete Retzlaff, Brian Westbrook, and even the current star Dallas Goedert. He has more receiving yards than almost anyone else in the history of the Midnight Green, trailing only guys like Carmichael, Retzlaff, and the electrifying Deshaun Jackson. Ertz himself admitted that the record means something to him. It's a legacy move. But wait until you hear what the front office is actually planning behind closed doors. While the fans are dreaming of a homecoming, the front office is playing a completely different game. Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni just held a pre-draft press conference that was a total masterclass in deflection and strategy. If you want to know how a real NFL GM operates, you have to watch Howie. He's a shark. He sat there and broke down exactly how the team is preparing for the upcoming draft, revealing that they are knee-deep in medical meetings and strategy sessions. They are looking at every single detail, from day 3 sleepers to late-round gems. One of the biggest takeaways from the presser was the collaborative approach. Howie is talking to college coaches, scouting every angle, and even keeping an eye on the remaining free agents. He basically hinted that the team is constantly asking, is there a veteran out there better than what we can find in the draft? That is a direct window into why an Ertz signing might actually happen if the draft board doesn't fall their way. But there is a massive hurdle in the way. The Eagles' tight end room isn't exactly empty. Dallas Goedert is the undisputed number 1, and that isn't changing. Behind him, you've got guys like Grant Calcaterra and Johnny Munt, who both got guaranteed money this offseason. Then there's Stone Smart, an intriguing prospect, and they're even trying to turn Cam Jurgens' old teammate or other depth pieces into versatile blockers. Is there actually room for a veteran like Ertz in a system that is shifting? The Eagles are moving toward a scheme that loves multiple tight ends on the field. We've seen teams like the Rams use 3 tight ends to keep defenses guessing. If the Eagles want to embrace that high-octane, heavy personnel look, having a guy with the hands of Zach Ertz as your third option is a total luxury. However, the draft is only 2 weeks away. The youth movement is the biggest threat to an Ertz reunion. There are some serious studs coming out of the college ranks, names like Eli Stard, Sam Roush, or Oscar Delp. If the Eagles can snag one of these young, athletic freaks in the 2nd or 3rd round, They might decide that the future is better than a trip down memory lane. Howie mentioned that they love the idea of succession planning. They did it with Jason Kelsey and Cam Jurgens, letting the rookie watch the legend work every day. They could do the same thing at offensive tackle to eventually replace Lane Johnson. Speaking of Lane Johnson, the strategy for the offensive line is shifting too. In the old days, Philly wanted the biggest, meanest dudes on the planet. But with the new offensive scheme being installed, they're looking for agility. They want guys who are nimble and can move in space. It's a total evolution of the Stoutland University philosophy. And then there's the A.J. Brown drama. The media tried to corner Howie about A.J.'s future, especially after the team traded for guys like Dantavian Wicks. Howie basically laughed in their faces. He told the room there was a 50% chance he wouldn't answer, then just dropped the line, A.J. Brown is an Eagle. But let's look at the facts. The wide receiver room is deeper than it has been in years. They brought in Hollywood Brown, Elijah Moore, and now Wicks. Howie admitted he studied the rest of the NFL and realized the Eagles have been lucky with health at receiver, but their depth was actually trash. He's making sure that if a superstar goes down, the season doesn't go off the rails. He even told a hilarious story about being on a plane with Coach Sirianni, getting so hyped over Dantavian Wicks' film that he was literally jumping over seats to show the coach a specific play. That is the kind of energy the front office has right now. They're obsessed with finding chain movers, guys who play faster than their 40 time and have a trust of their quarterbacks. But with all these weapons, where does the money come from? Howie was asked about potential extensions for the young stars on defense, like Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. In typical fashion, he kept his cards close to his chest, saying those talks stay in-house. He did, however, give a wild take on the new nil era of college football. He said it's crazy because now they are drafting rookies who are actually taking a pay cut to join the NFL. Because of that, he's looking for players who have a true, burning passion for the game, not just guys looking for a paycheck. So, where does this leave us? Is the Earth's reunion a dream or a distraction? If the draft passes and the Eagles haven't found their tight end of the future, don't be surprised if number 86 walks back through those doors on a cheap, one-year deal. It would be a poetic ending to a career that nearly ended in the worst way possible. What do you think? Should the front office pull the trigger and bring the legend home, or should they stick with the youth movement? Type S for sign him or P for pass in the comments right now. This roster is changing fast, and the next few weeks are going to be absolutely insane. Stick around, because you won't want to miss what happens when the clock starts ticking on draft night. Go Birds!